Welcome to Amazing Business Radio with best-selling author and customer service and business expert, Shep Hyken. Shep will talk with some of the smartest thinkers in business to help make you more successful in your professional and personal life. This is Amazing Business Radio with Shep Hyken.
Hello, everybody. It's Shep Hyken back with another episode of Amazing Business Radio, and I'm excited because today we talk with Jeffrey Russell, the Chief Executive Officer of C1. Now, most of the time we talk with an executive, a leader of a company that does one thing. What's really interesting about this company is they work with nearly half of the Fortune 500, and they partner with more than 140 technology vendors to bring their clients the best solutions. So they're somewhat brand agnostic. A lot of what they focus on is customer experience in several different sectors. They work a lot in the public sector, healthcare, financial services, retail, hospitality, which pretty much almost sums it all up. But they do an awful lot of work for a lot of different companies. We're going to be talking about the connected human experience, and we're going to learn a little bit about how Jeffrey took this company and transformed it into something that it is today. Before we get into the interview, a quick announcement. If you've got an amazing story that you would like to share or a question that you would like me to answer, just reach out to me on any of the social channels. I'm pretty much everywhere. If it is a question, please use the hashtag Ask Shep. I'll either answer the question right there in whatever channel you reach out to me on. I may do it on this show. I may do it in my newsletter, the Shepherd Letter, or on my TV show, which is Be Amazing or Go Home, and you can catch episodes. Some of them are on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Roku, or just go to beamazing.tv. That is beamazing.tv. You can catch all the episodes there and binge watch them all. All right, let's jump into our interview. Jeffrey, welcome to the show.
Shep, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Well, I'm excited for a couple of reasons. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the connected human experience, but what's fun about this program today is that I get to talk to an executive, CEO of a great company, but you don't represent just one product. Your company helps companies implement technologies and software across the board with, I believe you have about 140 technology vendors. So to use your words, as we talked about prior to the interview, you're somewhat brand agnostic and you help your clients choose the best solutions that deliver the results that they're looking for. Big areas that you focus on, public sector, and I kind of think that's great. I know more and more communities are trying, and states and even federal government are trying to deliver a better customer experience. You also focus on healthcare, financial services. You do a lot of work in retail. But why don't we give our audience, from your perspective, the elevator pitch as to what you do? We got in on the lobby and I said, hey, it's nice to see you here. What do you do?
Yeah,
You've got about 12 floors to get me the story.
12 floors to get the message across. I think, as you said, we're at the end of the day, we're centered on being a solutions provider to answer and walk in the shoes of our clients and our customers to answer business problems, business opportunities that they're facing, and respond to that with what we like to think about as seeking to elevate their connected human experience. And the human experience comes in two forms. One is their employees, and then their employees' experience with their end customers. The end customers for us could be a student, a teacher. In the case of education, it could be a patient, and ultimately the healthcare practitioner and provider in healthcare, and so the story goes. And what we really provide three central capabilities that we revolve around: the CX, customer experience and collaboration; IX, we call infrastructure and enterprise experience; and then the last one is security, so security experience. So if you think about the human experience as the backdrop to what we do, and we do that through three lenses: the customer experience, the infrastructure and networking experience, and the security experience. And we're answering big issues that our customers are grappling with to use technology in a fit for purpose yet agnostic way to put the right solutions in place And we're engineering that solution ultimately for them to make it work in their environment.
I want to start with the last one, which is security, for just a moment. And here's why. Every year I do consumer research, and this year we asked a question about privacy and security of data. 75% of consumers in the US, and this is a general cross-section, everything from Gen Zs, age 18 to 65 boomers, but 75% are concerned about privacy and security of their data when interacting with AI-based customer service technologies, which is a lot of what you're selling right now in solutions in that area. Any thought to how we can make our consumers and customers of any industry feel more comfortable?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's central to how, whether it be a consumer or ultimately our customer, as a B2B customer set. I think a couple of things. One is we do everything to, I think the broader standards that are being, obviously Europe tends to lead the way on certain aspects of this in terms of the protocols and the policies, but those are kind of winding their way across the world, and of course here in the US and North America and other parts. So I think getting those broader policies and protocols put in place and getting people comfortable, ultimately consumers, with them around protection. I think for us, sitting inside the ecosystem of providing these solutions to our customers, we take security of the data and the anonymity of that data to its nth degree. I mean, we just have to, because that's kind of our lifeblood, and we work, to be honest with you, we work within the protocols of each of our customers, of course, what they have. Because if you think about it, a financial institution has certain protocols just by the nature of how they interact versus a healthcare provider and the way they interact ultimately with their patient versus an education provider and how they interact with their students and their teachers and their administrators. So I think each of those require a nuanced view, but at the heart of it is we make sure that firstly, we're abiding by and aligning to any broader protocols that are out there and staying in tune with those. Secondly, is we're making sure that we're very much fit for purpose for the industry and the customer/client situation that we're working within. And then we hardwire that in, so to speak. I mean, we codify that into our solution, and we make sure that when we're working with other third-party providers, in the case of technology providers, that part of our due diligence and part of our solutioning and engineering ultimately is making sure that they have robust securitized solutions that we can, that ultimately we can live by, because we're going to be, we're going to live by, we're going to live by that in the end.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'll live and die by it, because if you don't have it, customers will learn quickly and not do business. Here's what I'm hearing loud and clear: is this is a huge concern that you deal with, and this is what your customers are concerned about. Before we start talking more about this connected human experience, I want to talk a little bit about your company. First of all, you got a great background working with different companies and being with Accenture, and you come into this organization, and as a leader, you've really built this company up. And I'd like you to just give us kind of a quick background on that, because if there's anybody out there who's in leadership listening to our show, this is going to be really, really interesting to you.
Yeah. And I think, look, I've been in place for 18 months now, almost. Came in with a transformation agenda outlined by the various stakeholders of the business. That it was, and a couple of things happened here. One is, as many companies do, we had a very historical acquisitive strategy, e.g., buying companies as one of the avenues to grow the business. And that resulted in the opportunity to really unify and bring the business together. So, and part of that was how we bring the culture, the new values, our purpose statement, elevating the connected human experience, something that people can wake up each and every morning and relate to and say, wow, that's why I'm going to work for C1, and that's how I'm going to walk in the shoes of our customers and the experiences that I'm going to help shape and engineer and solve for each and every day. So a lot of it was that. And then the second part of it was, how to get ultimately the financial health. And so you get cohesivity of the business, first and foremost, culturally, operating model, organizationally. And then the second is, of course, getting the financial health of business. And with any financial as well as organizational transformation, communication has been key. And not surprisingly, how you do that and being consistent from the very get-go through to ongoing in terms of that transformation. So, and then the second part of it is understanding what your company is really good at. I like to call it the superpowers. So really coming to terms with what are the superpowers of your business. I mean, for us, for example, two of the things that we've been doing on over the decades, we've been around for 30 plus years. And at the end of the day, we're very, very good at integrating and orchestrating information flows, data flows, and ultimately to create a better experience for our customer and in turn their customer. So really understanding those superpowers, and then what are you going to do with it? How do you leverage that in terms of painting the picture for the future? And then lastly is, of course, getting the support of your team and getting the support of the organization and exciting them around what is the art of the possible. So rallying the team has been a key part of it. And then I think finally is, not surprising, you need to have a bit of patience because you're in it for the long game. There's plenty of individual stakeholders, both internally and externally, that you need to communicate with, and you got to keep everyone aligned and even keel as you work through the transformation. And of course, as headwinds come up, and they do come up, is be on the front foot and dealing with those. So in the end, I like to call change leading the change. So how do you actually lead the change as leaders, and ultimately, and how do you take more control of your destiny as part of that? So when you do come out on the other end, so to speak, transformation never ends. Change is consistent and constant, but you come out at some stage, and we're working through that as we speak now in terms of a much stronger and more dynamic organization that's ultimately in a better market position to innovate, deliver value and experiences for our customers that are fit for purpose and really make an impact for them. And lastly is sustainable growth for us and in turn for our customers. So that's what we've been doing at C1 over the past 18 months or so.
Wow. So I love several things you said. Number one, just to reflect back, you put culture at the top and financial second behind culture. You said, we got to get the company fixed. And at the same time, obviously, you worry about the financial side, but you put that first, and you said in second. I love that you're putting essentially people first is key, because without that, if you don't have people, both employees and customers, you don't have a business. Number two, there is a goal line that you're trying to get to, but you already said the goal line is going to move. But you have to start out at some point and say to yourself, and hopefully it's sooner than later, all right, we got to where we wanted to be, but we're not over it. We got to keep going, but we are at a point where now we're through the hard stuff. So how do we sustain it and grow it versus try to get to where we needed to be, which I think is powerful. I would say that if you typed up what you just said, put it into a description, that would be like a major course of leadership at a college university. That would be the description of the course. And I think it's a wonderful course and case study to work with. Let's take a short break. When we come back, I want to talk about that human connected experience, which seems to be your mantra over there at C1, and I think should be something any company needs to be considering. We are talking with Jeffrey Russell, the CEO of C1, and we will be right back. Don't go away. One of my favorite sayings is that customer service isn't a department, it's a philosophy. And it's a philosophy that must be embraced by everyone in the organization all the time, and that's 24/7. So if customer service is important to you, and I know it is, then you will love our virtual training, the ultimate on-demand customer service and experience training program that you can access anytime, anywhere. Now, the course content applies to everyone, regardless of position and responsibility, from senior executives to the most recently hired and everyone in between. You'll discover tips, ideas, and strategies that won't cost your company a fortune, but will produce what I call moments of magic, those positive experiences, and it will happen at every level of your organization. So go to Customer Service VT. That's V as in virtual, T as in training. That's customerservicevt.com. It's time to get customer focused.
You're listening to Amazing Business Radio with best-selling author and customer service and business expert, Shep Hyken.
We're back on Amazing Business Radio talking with Jeffrey Russell of C1. Wow. This is exciting to talk now about your vision of CX, customer experience. Let's start off with the idea. As we were talking during the break, you said you put two words together that they don't belong together in most cases, but you did. And that was empathy and technology. So let's expand on that a little bit, because usually you think of technology, it's stark, it's cold, it's something that is sometimes a barrier between a customer or a patient or a member or a client, whatever, and the company. And companies are becoming enamored so much with technology that they sometimes lose the balance between the human element. And after all, connected human experience is part of your mantra over there at C1. But that's what you're doing, connected human experiences between technology and people, which is empathy. So I'll let you take it from here. I'll stop rambling.
Thank you, Shep. And I think to reinforce your point, our strong point of view is, if you're going to innovate, at the heart of innovation, you need to you need to put the solutions, put the capabilities in the hands of the bold. And I think tech becomes more than ones and zeros. That's kind of our starting position. It's more than wires and networks. It elevates, it enables, it empowers, it expands the human experience, first and foremost. And then as we think about our team and how we face off to the market and our customers, whether it be our engineers, our industry experts, our solution builders, the most powerful tool at our disposal to elevate ultimately that experience, whether it be the customer experience, the networking experience, the security experience, is empathy. And empathy allows us to understand what really matters to our customers, delivering ultimately what we seek to achieve each and every time is to provide something that's differentiated, so it's of relevance and value, and it's impactful, and ultimately it delivers a better experience, whatever that experience is that they're seeking to achieve. And what we also think about empathy allows us to be bold in crafting extraordinary solutions that touch the lives, in our case, that touch the lives of well over 1 million people every day, the people that actually ultimately the end customer that touches our solutions. We think of them, and we think about the numbers just to quantify. So we try to measure it, and we try to be meaningful. And then lastly, is empathy gives us deep insight on how we should connect with people. How do we connect our people with our customers, their businesses, and their outcomes? So to us, empathy is really core, and we're not stopping there, so to speak. We're trying to, obviously, as everyone is, moving faster, pushing our limits and striving for more, and venturing beyond our comfort zone to unleash the possibilities that come with those connections and with those enhanced and exceptional experiences that we're solving for.
So when you're working with the client and they have a vision in mind of what they want to achieve, you're suggesting software, you're implementing and building out their technology for them. How often do you push back and you say to your clients, hey, you're not keeping your customer or even your employees in mind? The technology does what it's supposed to do, but you're missing the human connection here. Does that happen very often?
I think rather than the pushback, I mean, it's a consultative dialogue is what we try to.
Yeah, maybe pushback isn't the right word. Yeah.
No, but I hear you. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I think so. I think the net of it is we attempt to work in each situation to provide what ultimately, as I like to say, you got to walk in the shoes of your customer and be ultimately an advocate of their business to our business. But in doing that, if we're going to have the kind of enduring, sustained relationships that we do, we've been fortunate enough to earn, and we continue to earn each and every day through performance, because that's the only way you create respect and trust. To do that, we need to come up with something that's really relevant for them, and so we try to really make sure that those experiences are absolutely fit for purpose, and the pushback comes ultimately, so to speak, in coming up with something that's joint and allied to what's of real value to them, and ultimately to us, of course, too. But so we like to be consultative. We like to create joint outcomes and joint solutions, and ultimately joint value, and as I like to call it, a win-win outcome as we do that. And there's always a healthy conversation and a healthy discussion and a healthy relationship, especially if you have an enduring relationship. You create that enduring relationship, comes with that sort of earned trust and earned respect that comes through dialogue, and
Yep.
and that dialogue gets to hopefully a healthier, more dynamic, and better result for all.
Well, spoken like a true consultant. So, all right, you have an interesting take on AI. All of us think of AI as artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Let's hear your spin on this.
Well, I think we the first A we like to lead with is authenticity, because it gets back to my earlier point about the human experience. I mean, I think what people are concerned about is the whole, how artificial is it? And yes, through generative AI and other new, the spectrum of AI as it's unfolding, it's getting more real for people in terms of whether it be voice or whether it be whatever the engagement, the form of engagement might be. But at the end of the day, it's got to be authentic, and because it's augment, and then the second A we like to talk about augmented, because at the end of the day, it's augmenting human dynamic, as in real human dynamic, together with an alternative, which is automated and not necessarily driven by human hands, but human shaping and solutioning. But it's got to be augmented and get that combination of both right. And I think that notion of authentic and authenticity, in terms of understanding ultimately the human experience that you're trying to shape and deliver through better customer experiences, networking experience, security experiences, what have you. And then secondly, the notion of augmented, to recognize, as you think about the authentic nature of it, is the trade-off and the dynamism between the actual human and the skills, and the fact that you're trying to ultimately build skills over time, while things that may not be of total value or repeatable, highly repeatable, things that are more transactional in nature, those are the things in which you can choose to use AI to automate. But I think it's a combination of both that you need to be thoughtful about.
Yeah, I think the best companies have achieved a balance between the human to human interaction and the technology. It's like we love saying to our clients and customers, hey, you don't need to call us for the simple question. You can go online and do it. But know we're here for you when the questions become more complicated. And that's what's happening today. But I love it. There's 3 A's now for AI. The AI that everybody thinks of artificial, but hey, how about authentic? And ultimately, what it's all about is augmentation, augmented reality, if you will, and intelligence. All right, so we are down to the
throw
end.
another, if I may, Shep.
Another A.
Another A. The last is this is kind of is applied, because I think what's happening today, right now, we're in this, like where the maturity is growing, is evolving so quickly that applied in it kind of suggests that it's got to be of value, like of real value, whatever the value might be, whether kind of ultimately to that use case and to the end customer experience. if applied kind of suggests the nature of kind of activating the solution, activating the technology, the authenticity, the augmentation of it, but doing it in a way that's truly applied and active and has value at the heart of it, versus doing it for the sake of doing it because, hey, it's the latest and newest thing. So I'd just kind of I'd kind of leave with that, because that's how we try to walk with that in mind as we're working backwards from what we're trying to solve with our customer, versus just throwing technology at it because it's new and it's new and cool, so to speak, at the other end of the spectrum.
Right. And by the way, the companies that are willing to invest and adopt something that's super new and cool, they're the leaders. And if they hit it right, everybody's playing catch up and keep up to try to do that. So I think it can give a company a competitive advantage. Then there are those that are afraid to invest because they don't know, oh, it's going to change in 6 months or a year, and maybe it will, maybe it won't. But if it was the right thing to do, you're behind the 8 ball there. So
yeah, I agree. A lot
well,
of
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I said there's a lot of people therefore sitting on the sidelines waiting to you got two groups that are, the ones that are putting their toe in the water, and you got a bigger group, I'd say, right now that are, kind of sitting on the sidelines waiting and wondering and contemplating, and our view is be very focused, understand what you're trying to achieve, and then work with the right parties to help you get to a solution that makes sense for you.
Right. That's exactly what C1 does. All right. We're at the end of the interview. I always ask the final question. You've dropped a bunch of nuggets on us today already, and I love some of the ideas, the empathy and technology. Now we went from 3 A's a moment ago to 4 A's when you add the applied intelligence. You shared with us some great leadership principles of how you made what you referred to as a transformation agenda over there at C1. What else can you share with us? One last nugget of wisdom.
Well, I just say that it's a super exciting time for the industry, and we're just, to be honest with you, honored to be and humbled to be part of the change that's going on with our, ultimately with our customers and our partners, and so excitement going on. I think for us, it's just making sure that we're really continuing to walk in the shoes of our customers, developing fit for purpose solutions, and using technology wisely, authentically, to really, ultimately get to the outcome that we think is that our customers think is right, and we believe in that. So great time to be part of all the change that's going on. And Shep, want to thank you for doing what you do as part of this podcast, and equally giving us the opportunity to speak out and share our perspectives with you.
Well, thanks. And what you just did was you under-promised and over-delivered, because I only asked for one thing and you dropped 3 on us in like one big sentence. I love it. Thank you so much for being on the show, Jeffrey. Really appreciate it. This is why we call it Amazing Business Radio.
Lovely. Thanks, Shep.
All right, everybody. That wraps it up. Another episode. We will be back next week with another interview. Until that time, this is Shep Hyken reminding you to always be amazing.